Number 1. On the rainy night of June 5th, 2024, a heavy mist draped itself over Rook's Wood, one of the most haunted forests in the UK. It was here that Moxley, the creator of Moxley's Paranormal World on YouTube, arrived for another one of his solo paranormal investigations. Known for exploring eerie places alone, Moxley often seeks out locations steeped in dark history. But this night would test even his courage. His destination was the notorious Peoria Pit, a site marked by tragedy. In 1909, a catastrophic explosion trapped a group of miners underground, and many believe their spirits still linger. Locals claim that on certain nights, you can hear faint cries from deep within the woods, echoing through the trees. Always skeptical but curious, Moxley set out to experience it for himself. As he set up his hammock and prepared for the night, the rain started to fall. At first, it was just the usual sounds of a forest at night, but soon, something felt off.
There's people in this forest. I heard them laughing, talking. They're quite a distance away, but there is people here. I need to do some adjustments on this tarp in a minute. But we're here in one of the UK's most haunted forests, and we're going to solo camp this till the morning. Look at that. 10, 12, and it is absolutely pitch black outside.
He began to hear distant voices, laughter and conversation, coming from somewhere in the woods. Though the sounds seemed far off, their presence was unsettling. The deeper into the night it got, the stranger things became. Moxley noticed the subtle crack of branches, the low murmur of voices.
And I heard a load of branches cracking. Then I heard mumbling. Then I heard them crackling going past the outside of the tarp. Not too far away, I couldn't see anybody, but this isn't a good idea. I'm here now. I can hear them in the distance. Somebody's literally just walked straight past this.
Someone, or something, was moving just beyond the range of his light. He couldn't see anything, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger by the minute.
I thought coming out here, in the vein, would have actually stopped anybody from coming out here. But to be fair, who's to say it is someone? Could be something. There's somebody walking there. Gonna have to go check, aren't we? Like somebody walked this way.
Unable to ignore the sounds any longer, he stepped away from his hammock with a flashlight, hoping to catch a glimpse of what was out there. But no matter where he looked, there was nothing.
Half expecting to see someone, like, on edge. But it's gone 11 o'clock at night. I'm on my own out here. I've just heard somebody walk through, past where I am.
The forest offered no clues, only darkness and the occasional sound of footsteps echoing nearby.
There's something quite heavy just hit the side of the tent. Granted, it could be a branch falling off the tree, but it startled me. I just dozed off. There's weird noises, but it's down to the rain, because it's raining. I do feel like something's watching me here now. I'm getting that overwhelming feeling. I don't think I'm going to get much sleep. Spirits are coming, but I don't want to draw any sort of attention to where I am. This is going to be one long, long night. So I'm just lay here in the hammock, and just heard, is that like a group of people having a full-on conversation? Almost like they were having a heated argument. a conversation, a bit of an argument, definitely a disagreement. But it is known for people to come out here who are on a few drinks, a few smokes, and getting up to no good. Keep looking over there because I still feel like somebody's watching me. I've been trying to get off and get back to sleep for about 5 minutes now. Oh. There's something quite heavy just hit the side of the tent. Granted, it could be a branch falling off the tree, but it startled me. I just dozed off.
Back in his hammock, Moxley tried to distract himself with a movie, but sleep was impossible. A sudden, heavy thud hit the side of his tent, startling him. It could have been a branch, but in that moment, anything felt possible.
I do feel like something's watching me here now. I'm getting that overwhelming feeling.
The rain added to the unease, amplifying every strange noise and making it harder to tell what was natural and what wasn't. As the night dragged on, he heard more voices, this time clearer, almost like a group having an argument nearby. It's not unusual for people to wander into the forest after a few drinks, but the timing and intensity of the sounds made the situation feel more threatening than casual. Still tucked away in the shadows, he kept still, hoping to remain unnoticed. Eventually, the strange noises returned. Heavier footsteps, low whispers, all close enough to feel as if someone was just outside his thin shelter. Moxley knew he wasn't alone, but he didn't want to draw attention to himself. Even in haunted places, people can be more dangerous than spirits. Still, curiosity got the better of him.
I'm not alone out here. I know I'm not alone out here. I'm whispering, I'm trying to keep my voice down as much as possible. Because the last thing I want is to attract any sort of attention from the wrong sort of people out here.
And he decided to venture out once more. This time, he switched to night vision to avoid being seen, scanning the forest in all directions.
I've just heard somebody whistling. Somebody's just been whistling out here. It sounds so close. Is there someone there? There. That sounds like somebody there then. I had to go night vision, just so they can't see my lights. This is absolutely nuts. I really do feel like I'm being watched from all angles out here now. I heard that whistling, I told you. I heard it and I've caught it on camera.
Then came a piercing whistle, cutting through the silence. It was followed by the unmistakable sound of footsteps. Despite calling out, there was no response. He stood in the darkness for what felt like forever, waiting for someone or something to reveal itself.
I'm not alone here. There's such an uneasy feeling here, you know. There's somebody out there. I'm I'm not 100% sure if they're watching me or not. But I don't know. Let me know what you...
But the forest offered no answers. For 15 long minutes, he stood alone in the pitch black, nerves frayed and senses on high alert. Eventually, defeated and drained, he returned to his hammock, hoping to ride out the rest of the night. When he checked the time, it was 3 a.m., and the eerie noises hadn't let up. Every creak and rustle kept him wide awake.
Just check the time, and it's literally 3 o'clock in the morning. By my voice, I'm really on edge. I've been on edge since it's gone dark in here. Right, logging back off, and hopefully the next time you see me, it'll be morning, and I'll be packing up and getting ready to leave. Dog. Oh, love. What the fuck? Sounds like it's getting closer.
He lay there, heart pounding, until the first signs of daylight finally broke through the trees. The sound of birds chirping was a welcome relief after a night full of tension.
An interesting night it's been. But yeah, gonna make my way back towards the car now.
As he packed up his gear and made his way back to the car, the questions still haunted him. Who or what had been out there? Please help us reach 1,000 subscribers. 99% of you watching have not subscribed yet, so please do. It's free. Number 2, imagine going back to a place that's been stuck in your mind for years, not because of the memories, but because of the fear. That's exactly what happened to Christopher Brian Hill. On a quiet, moonlit night, he decided to return to Robert Fulton Elementary School in Cleveland, Ohio, a place he had explored before. The building's located in one of the roughest parts of the city, where crime is a regular thing. Shootings, break-ins, all kinds of chaos. It's not somewhere most people would go alone, let alone at night. But this wasn't just some abandoned school. There's history in those walls, not the kind you read in books, but the kind you feel when you're walking through. Christopher had been there a few years back and discovered something disturbing. Signs that people had been living inside. Makeshift shelters, blocked off rooms, even someone quietly living in one of them. That experience left a mark on him, and he never really shook it. Curiosity eventually pulled him back. He planned to take a friend along, just to play it safe. But when that fell through, he decided to go solo.
Oh shit. You hear that?
As he wandered through the dark halls, things got eerie fast. He started hearing voices, not from outside, but inside the building. It sounded like someone was talking under the stairs. He paused, listened, and tried not to panic. He knew then he wasn't alone in there. Instead of leaving, he pushed further into the school. What he didn't realize was that the camera had picked up something he hadn't seen. A man quietly walking away in the distance. He only caught it later while reviewing the footage, and it sent chills down his spine. But that wasn't even the worst of it. As he kept moving, strange noises started echoing through the hallway. It wasn't just creaks and groans from an old building. It was footsteps, movement, someone definitely there.
All these deaths behind. Somebody's down here.
And then he saw a flashlight and what looked like a gun. That's when the panic kicked in. He ran, Whoever was in there didn't want to be found, and they definitely didn't want him snooping around.
Here's one more thing I need to point out. Right as that person with the flashlight turned around, I could see a gun in their hand. This startled me, so I started running away. There's no telling what these people could be using this building for. They could just be squatters or even scrappers. They could even be criminals hiding from the police. I don't know. But one thing I know for sure, they didn't want me there, because they started shooting a gun as I ran away.
As he scrambled to get out, shots were fired. Actual gunshots. The sound ripped through the silence, and all he could do was keep running, hoping he'd make it out. When he finally reached the first floor, he still didn't feel safe. That sense of being watched never went away. He wasn't sure who was there or why, but whatever was going on inside that school, it was dangerous. Eventually, he made it back outside and got away, but the fear didn't leave with him. That experience stuck, not just because of the risk, but because of how close he came to something that could have gone very, very wrong. Number 3, Joe and Elliot, the duo behind the YouTube channel Ghost Theory, are no strangers to dark places. They've explored haunted castles, forgotten hospitals, and all kinds of creepy locations. But nothing could have prepared them for what happened on one summer night in 2024. This time, they weren't just investigating a haunted place. They were planning to camp overnight inside an abandoned mental asylum deep in the countryside of the UK. The building had been left to rot for over 30 years, surrounded by dense woods and steeped in dark history. The location already had all the makings of a horror movie, but what they encountered went far beyond anything paranormal. After hiking through the forest and finally reaching the crumbling asylum, Joe and Elliot set up their tent.
I've found our camping spot.
I hope you're not scared of heights.
No, see, I'm not afraid of heights, but I am afraid of the sudden stop after the plummet of falling.
Yes.
Well, anyway, so we've decided actually that due to the amount of dust and everything, we thought it'd be best to go somewhere where there's quite a lot of ventilation and where better than outside.
So we're going to an holiday inn just down the road.
So basically, we are going to be camping on this lovely roof.
On the roof, it seemed like the safest place, away from the dust, the decay, and whatever might be crawling around on the lower floors. For a while, things felt almost peaceful, but peace never lasts long in places like this. Once they were settled, they decided to leave the tent and do what they came for: explore. They wanted to find the most active room in the asylum to leave their cameras running overnight, hoping to catch some paranormal activity.
On the areas that's going to cover like all rooms, corridors, and most open spaces.
It's also finding the areas that have got the most going on. If we go somewhere and there's constantly activity or something there, to leave a camera there. But we also haven't ever really had a good look around this building.
No.
So,
Just soaking in the atmosphere. Hello? Is anybody here that can hear us?
But before they could even start setting things up, something felt off. They began hearing faint sounds from the lower levels, footsteps and distant bangs. At first, it could have been the building creaking or animals scurrying around, but soon it became clear that these were human sounds, voices, movement, things being thrown.
Oh, did you hear that? No. Okay, listen. That's people. Good.
Now, they'd dealt with other people before on these kinds of trips, usually just fellow explorers or urban squatters. But this time, something felt different. The noise was coming from all directions, and the energy in the building shifted from eerie to threatening.
It was like it was people, but then just went.
But they're just throwing stuff around. Were they? They were like throwing things into the building and shit.
Are they out there?
I can't see them. I can hear them.
Yeah, I don't like it.
They were quiet, because it's not like people have just like come in.
They've not
look
come in
around.
chatting and stuff either.
They moved quietly to the upper floors, hoping to stay out of sight. But as they looked out into the distance from their rooftop vantage point, they saw something that stopped them cold.
What the fuck? Did you catch them?
They're in army gear. There's two of them.
Have they got weapons?
They're like this long. They're air rifles. I don't know.
Fucking kidding. Like the proper pellet rifles.
They're fucking picking up their rifles. Like a sniper. He's got a full fucking helmet on and everything.
That's illegal.
But there's two of them sat down there where the entrance is.
That's illegal though.
A group of people, dressed in camouflage, armed with rifles. At first, they tried to rationalize it. Maybe they were airsoft players. Maybe it was just a game. But no, these weren't plastic toys. These were actual air rifles, the kind used for real target shooting. And this wasn't some organized event. There were no signs, no safety gear, no warnings. Just a group of armed men moving silently through the dark near an abandoned asylum. In the UK, where real firearms are heavily restricted, even seeing this was enough to set off major alarm bells.
Right. I feel like we need to put the stuff away, minus these.
Let's go. That's the fast plan.
So we've got movement. Hello?
Joe and Elliot realized they had made a huge mistake. The people outside weren't paranormal. They were real. They were armed, and no one knew they were there. As the night wore on, the group outside became louder. The sounds of tools, heavy bangs, and disturbing mechanical noises echoed through the building. At one point, it even sounded like someone was trying to grind or cut through something metal. Joe and Elliot couldn't figure out what they were doing or why, but whatever it was happening very close.
If there's someone here.
Hey?
If there's someone here now. There's a voice, isn't it?
It's... Be quiet.
They turned off their lights, switched to night vision, and stayed silent, hoping not to be discovered. But the noises kept getting louder, and the voices were getting closer. At one point, they were sure they heard someone calling out a name. Whether it was one of theirs or not, they couldn't tell, but it sent a clear message. They were being watched.
Oh, fucking shit. What the fuck are they doing?
That's very fucking loud. I don't know what the fuck to do. I do not know what the fuck to do.
Is that outside?
What?
Is that outside? Shit, fuck.
Fuck this. Fuck this. Fuck this.
Trapped in a decaying building, outnumbered and unsure if the men were hostile, Joe and Elliot were left with one terrifying option: run.
Stay at the end of that corridor. Stay at the end of that corridor. Our tent's upstairs still. Fuck. Okay.
We need to fucking get out of here.
What's going on? We need to get out. We should get out. What? They're nicking the shit.
They quickly grabbed their essentials, left their tent behind, and bolted through the building. Every echo, every footstep, every shadow became a potential threat. They didn't stop until they were deep in the woods.
Fucking doors and everything. Why are they making noise?
They fled the building, abandoning their tent, and ran into the darkness outside.
People turn up with guns. Whatever guns, whether they're airsoft, air rifles, whatever, I have no idea. And then whack out with some fucking angle grinders.
But the thing is,
Because he heard his name, whatever, so whatever, have you got the ladder? So they brought fucking ladders in and everything.
how
I don't know.
did they get past?
There are multiple ways into that building.
Yeah.
We must have literally walked around the outside when they came in the other side.
Okay.
It has to have done.
Moving fast and trying to stay out of sight. Only once they reached their car did they allow themselves to breathe. The drive home was silent. 6 hours of trying to process what had just happened. Who were those people? Why were they there, armed and organized, in an abandoned asylum? And most importantly, what would have happened if Joe and Elliot had been spotted?